Hello and welcome to Voices of Victory podcast. And I am your host, Mario De Leone. And again, this is a very special exclusive. I wanted to bring it out there and share it with you. This is all about mastering your subconscious mind, the control panel of your life. The first thing I want to go over is literally like your brain is the control panel, literally to your dream life or the life that you'd like to have, right? Your subconscious mind is what we're going to discuss. Your subconscious mind is not a physical part of your brain. It's a mental process that controls literally 95% of your behaviors. Okay. Understanding it gives you the power to create your own dream life. Now, we are going to go and talk about this deeper. So, here's what we want to understand. What does your subconscious mind actually do? Well, it automatically stores your beliefs, your habits, your emotions, and of course, your patterns. It remembers everything from your past experiences and creates subconscious fears and beliefs that you may not even know actually exist. Your subconscious mind operates 24/7 without your awareness and powerfully is influencing your choices and behaviors. Now, the three main purposes. First one is protection. It keeps you safe from perceived threats by creating avoidance behaviors and emotional responses, right? So this is really easy is that when you ever have a particular belief and someone opposes that belief, that it could trigger you and as a result you might avoid discussing whatever that topic is or whatever the case may be. So you got to remember anything that's really close to the identity, if it goes under threat, your subconscious will protect you. It'll keep you safe from those perceived threats by creating avoidance behaviors, right? Now, another thing it's good at is efficiency. It automates routine behaviors and responses so you don't have to consciously think about every single action, right? So, this is what I always say autopilot. I always talk about autopilot. You'll hear that on a lot of my podcasts mention the word autopilot. And then last but not least, survival. It prioritizes keeping you alive above all else. So often at the expense of your goals and desires. Now, what happens with the subconscious mind is if you're trying to make a change in your life and it's too big, too quick, too fast, your subconscious will protect you and make you backslide. So if I were to overhaul my entire refrigerator to create a new diet and I decide to throw away everything and I throw in all this new healthy food, my subconscious mind could indeed backslide and I could wind up going backwards to my old habits, my old ways, especially if I don't have a strong enough reason why I want to experience that change. That's number one. And number two, when it's too big, too fast, too hard, too soon, then your subconscious will make you backslide and go from there. Sometimes it is not even sometimes, actually, more often than not, it is best to do several small, incremental, courageous changes than it is to go big, go hard, go fast, go all the way. Some people could do it. They're like the Nike just do it crowd. I talk about them. They're the exception. They are not the rule. We cannot use them as a measurement. They can't be used as a marker. It can't be. Even though you might see somebody on social media that says, "Oh, just do it this way." Yeah, great. It works for you, right? So let's talk more. So 95% of your behaviors are controlled by your subconscious mind. Positive beliefs equal positive behaviors and outcome. Negative beliefs equal self-sabotaging behaviors and limited outcome, right? Your reality is a direct reflection of your subconscious programming, right? So yeah, there are people on the planet that, have all types of behaviors. They even mistreat people. They mistreat a lot of different people. They have a lens in which they see the world with a lot of negative beliefs. Now, I'm not here to justify what they did, but I can understand why they do what they do. Right. So it doesn't admonish justice. It doesn't take us away from serving justice on that one person. They are a function of their programming. That's what you really want to understand is most people are a function of their programming. And if their behavior is one of injustice, then that justice still has to be actually served. right? So keep that in mind. Let's go next. So your subconscious mind, the main role is to keep you alive. That's your survival brain. It equates fear and death, and it will do anything to avoid you facing your fears. This is why it's so important for us to do gentle, small bouts of courage over and over again. Again, there are some people that can just do the big feats of courage. Great. You're the exception, not the rule. But there are people that have difficulty with that, and that's who this is for. Those small bouts of courage. It's called dip your toe therapy. You get to dip your toe in the ocean, and then you go to your ankle, then you go to your knee, then you go to your waist, and it's gradual and progressive, right? That's what it's all about. So this is why people procrastinate, they self-sabotage, and they avoid things that can actually help them grow. Now, fear example, public speaking. So fear of public speaking is actually, for some people, is considered worse than death. The subconscious equates it to death. Like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And what happens with this, by the way, is it can be wrapped around how you look. Like, the more you wrap public speaking around appearance and how you look, then what will happen is you will develop a very big fear. But when you focus on the delivery and what it is you're actually doing, you can trick your brain and your subconscious to actually going and speaking. Now, what does that do though? It creates avoidance behavior, right? So that's a big thing. So that results in behaviors where they procrastinate preparing for the speech. I've seen this before as a public speaker. Brain fog or blanking out while speaking. They're not prepared. They haven't prepared enough and they haven't really focused in the moment on what they're doing. They're focusing on their appearance. The physical symptoms of a racing heart, nausea, sweating, poor performance in related areas, problems in meetings, problems in presentations, right? So what happens is they avoid career opportunities that require speaking rather than challenging themselves in small micro ways. Okay, I call those micro actions or micro bouts of courage. Let's go on. So now the brain filters is what we call the RAS or reticular activating system. So it sorts through all the information around you. It only shows what matches to your existing beliefs. So it's kind of like a bouncer of a bar, right? A bouncer will stand outside of a bar and say, "Oh, well, you look like one of the patrons that belong inside here. You can go ahead and come on in. And you're going to stay right there. I don't think I'm going to allow you in as a patron, but I'm going to allow you." So the RAS is that bouncer of the brain that'll allow or disallow what information actually comes in. It only shows you what matches your existing beliefs. It reinforces your current belief system. It creates a feedback loop that actually strengthens your existing neural pathways. Just think of a pathway in the forest, and that's a pathway in your brain. It's called a neural pathway, right? Think of your RAS as the bouncer at the nightclub, only letting in the guest the information that match whatever's inside, whatever beliefs are already established, whatever programming from childhood that you've acquired. Because I got news for you. Every belief you have didn't come from inside of you. It actually came from outside of you. You acquired it. You adopted it. You made it your own. And you know what? Not every belief is going to lead to a functional life. Now, the RAS in action is it can be a negative example, right? The belief of I'm not worthy, I'm not beautiful, I'm not smart. So this is how your RAS will respond. It'll filter out the compliments. It won't hear the compliments. It'll just hear you know, the negative. It's going to filter out all the positive feedback. Oh, they're just being nice. Oh, they don't really mean it, right? And that's the thing is that it highlights and magnifies criticism. So guess what? It gives more merit to remembering your negative comments that you've heard for years. It gives more weight to one criticism rather than 10 compliments. Got it? It creates a reality that will match that negative belief. Aha. Let's go forward from here. Now, The RAS in action, another positive example is belief, having the belief that I'm capable of making money easily, right? All kinds of beliefs will come up with that. So, how your RAS will respond is it'll highlight opportunities, ideas, maybe even supportive people, notice business possibilities that others actually miss, right? It attracts some mentors, it attracts some partners. It might filter out limiting beliefs and negative influences. It'll dismiss the naysayers and doomsayers and ignores market pessimism, right? It creates a reality of abundance and, of course, opportunity, right? And that's the whole thing that a lot of people don't know is that the more narrow your belief, the more narrow your choices are. The more your brain starts to open up wider, the more wider the possibilities, because that is impacting how you see the options, not just magically how they show up in your life. It's how you see and perceive those options. That's when you open up your mind to a receptive area. Let's go from there. So, what is the subconscious mind reprogramming, right? What is it actually reprogramming? Well, if you take a look, we are intentionally changing beliefs, habits, and reactions that are wired into the subconscious, right? So we identify the limiting beliefs, we create and embed supportive beliefs, and we train our mind to automatically support our goals. Okay. Now, the before and after. So, before we have self sabotage, after is that there's actions that are aligned to what we want to do. And again, it's so important to get down to the why, figure out the why. What is the core reason? Okay, I know you want to work out. What is the reason why? And what are 5 supportive beliefs or supportive reasons behind that, right? Procrastination before, and of course, afterwards is inspired decisions, right? And when we have fear based decisions versus expanded opportunities or limited opportunities to expanded opportunities, right? So you can see how this kind of gets put down together. Now, understanding the neural pathways, the thoughts and emotions create neural pathways in the brain. But emotions, the more excited you get, the more amped up you get, the more pumped up you get, the more that change can actually take place. Those new thoughts could kind of go right in there. Really good. Just getting excited. But by the way, we're gonna leave off with some. I'm gonna give you a tool at the end of this video. The stronger the pathways in the brain and the more subconscious influence, just like water flowing down a riverbed, as the information flows down in this windy riverbed, it creates a deep channel, right? So the more you run the pattern with thoughts and emotions that are going to be functional towards change, what happens is the stronger the neural pathway goes in the brain. So your subconscious treats strong pathways as important and real. And the more emotion and repetition, the more real and important. This is why changing habits is actually difficult. You are literally rewiring your brain. You have to learn to derail the old habit while ingraining a new one. Matter of fact, the more you focus on the new one, that's great. You could focus on the new one, but if you don't have a strong enough why behind it, you will backslide. Very simple. So you have to have a very strong why, a very strong reason why. And it has to really connect your identity in a way that it feels comfortable to you. Where you can derail, the more you derail those older patterns, those older habits, that's great because you're destroying the older patterns, right? What happens is you're creating a new pattern. So you want to create that fork in the road where, you stop, you pause, you derail the old habit and you choose something else. It's kind of like what I call the chocolate broccoli fork in the road. You want broccoli because it's healthy and sustaining, and chocolate, let's say you don't want, right? We'll say for argument's sake. Well, guess what? Every time you get that craving, that deep emotional thought based craving to go for chocolate, the more you entertain that idea and you watch a commercial that's got chocolate on it, you'll just go straight for the chocolate. Like that's it, right? You'll be weak about it and bam, go right for it. But if we pause, we delay our reactions. We simply delay. Okay. The more you delay your response, the more you're able to quickly choose and go towards broccoli. Right. So when you feel certain responses, you have to train yourself, practice delay and response. Okay. Delay response, practice the delay first. Even if you fail, practice the delay and then the response, and then delay and then choose the proper one. So you have like delay response, which is really training yourself, and then delay and choose, which is actually moving yourself in the right direction. Got it? That's how that works. Let's go forward from here. Now, a negative neural pathway is like the belief that money is hard to earn, strengthened by repetition and emotion. Of course, watching a lot of news will tell you that, right? The whole fear of missing out, the whole FOMO bit. But then your RAS, it filters reality, right? So you only notice as a result of your RAS, when your RAS becomes narrowed or filtered by, let's say, the media and all the stuff that's going out there, what happens is you start to only notice low paying opportunities. You discount your skills, you discount your value, you feel uncomfortable about asking a raise or setting higher prices for what you do. And subconsciously, you know what you'll do? You'll just simply sabotage higher paying opportunities. I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy of it. I don't see how I'm able to do this, right? So create exactly what you believe, which is for money remains hard to earn. Okay. And there are outside influences, there are outside things in the world. I get it. I get what you're saying. But belief is everything. We are in a belief driven world. We are in a narrative based world. And you know what? Your brain is the GPS of your life. And it's up to you what set of instructions you wish to give it. Period. That's how I'm going to put it down. Let's move forward from here. Positive neural pathways. Again, I'm capable of making money easily. I'm strengthening by repetition and emotions. And of course, RAS filters reality, right? So what happens is when you create positive neural pathways, the results is you notice lucrative opportunities that other people miss because you're widening your vision, confidently valuing your skills and contribution because you're looking at a bigger picture, right? You're comfortably asking for and receiving appropriate compensation. There's a little bit of courage that you're using there. You're expressing that small bouts of courage, right? You take aligned actions that lead to financial success. And finally, you create what you believe, which is money can come easily to you. Or another way to put it, if you feel that that's too airy fairy, you can simply say, money comes to me in many different forms, many different pathways, many different channels, many different routes. It finds its way. So another way to put it, it finds its way to me. All right, let's go from there. Now, when it comes to real life examples like the athlete, and this has happened a lot with athletes, really work on their mind a great deal before reprogramming the negative beliefs. I'm not talented enough for the NBA. That limits your intensity of practice. You self sabotage before important games. You hesitate in crucial moments. Physical tension and injuries are there, and of course, performance anxiety. After reprogramming is I'm capable and talented and disciplined enough. I'm consistent. High intensity practice is what I do. Confident in critical moments, right? Physical relaxation and flow states, faster recovery from setbacks, attraction of opportunities, and of course, mentors, right? So let's go from here. Now, the barrier analogy is you have to think of your desires like delivery orders come into your house. Okay. Your desire, you get that money, love, success, and health. Then you get the limited beliefs, which just block your path. And then finally, your love, your life that you want to have, right? Where you receive your desires. Now, the key insight is you have to clear the barriers, which is the limiting beliefs to receive what you want or move in the direction of you want. And you're not going to have a perfect, airy, fairy, amazing pathway all the time. What you want to understand is there will be your share of calamity, there will be your share of obstacles, but your beliefs are also important in that, because why your beliefs are the GPS of your brain helps you navigate around those things or mitigate risks or find solutions beyond that. That's the whole point, right? I'm not denying that calamity happens. It happens. Things go wrong. But your belief is the GPS of your body. So, key insight, clear the barriers, limiting beliefs to receive what you want. Now, creating new neural pathways, it requires thought and strong emotion. The stronger the emotion, the faster the pathway forms. All right. And I could easily prove this. I could prove number one with the United States military very easily. Not even going to go there right now because that'll elongate this video longer than it needs to be, but I can prove it. Your subconscious can't tell the difference between real and vividly imagined. What does that mean? Well, it's real simple. It's I call it like the fire drill principle. You can have a basic fire drill, and if you don't take it too seriously, and guess what? You really don't care. Subconscious mind doesn't really care. You're just going through the motions. There's no level of emotion. However, if I put like fake smoke and I start to increase the intensity, I have to give you a time limit of going in that building and actually getting out and find your safe zone and run you through an entire process, and then adding emotion to it, like adding a level of emotion, then what will happen is your brain will not know the difference between that real and vividly imagined events with emotion. That's what I'm trying to say. So the fire drill principle is you can't create a simulation without a level of emotion. I've done a lot of combat, and guess what? The more I had combat to deal with, that in martial arts, where they're actually up in your face screaming and yelling, you have to be able to work through those emotions and be able to move forward, right? So that made the simulation go from a boring simulation to something that was far more real. Okay. That, something was going to happen. You had three people surrounding you. You don't know who's got the knife. One person decides to pull a blade. Now you got to deal with that one person, right? So that's scenario based training. And the more you increase the intensity of emotion in scenarios, the better off the scenario will be. And this is why our United States military uses techniques like that. Now, the bottom line is repetition strengthens that pathway. 60 plus repetitions creates a new automatic response. Okay. Now, the key is consistently imagining desired outcomes with strong positive emotions. Now, some people have difficulty closing their eyes and actually forming an image. So you could visualize or imagine, those are the words you can use. And if you can't see a picture in your head, you could actually voice it out loud, like narrate out loud what you wish to see, and your brain will actually form it. Okay. Because there are people that actually have difficulty forming images. All right. So for this one, this is the power of sleep reprogramming. You have to understand that sleep is everything. A lot of people are destroying their brain by doom scrolling at 2 o'clock in the morning or watching news, even worse. They're destroying their minds, absolutely destroying their minds. All right. Especially late at night, either early in the morning, 5 minutes before bed, or in the middle of the night. All of these times, the brain is extremely fertile during these times, extremely fertile, subconscious mind. So during the sleep, the brain enters alpha and theta states. You pass through it to go to bed, and you pass through it to wake up. You pass through several states. So the natural receptive state is where your subconscious is open. The critical conscious mind relaxes, right? The part that's very critical. I don't like that belief. I don't like that belief. I don't like that belief. That's the critical factor, as it's called. This is the part that typically resists new belief. That goes offline. All right. That's one of the main reasons why watching TV, or no, going to bed and listening to the television, I don't give a rat's ass if you say that makes you sleep better. Not going there, because it's extremely damaging to the psyche. And I'm going to die on that mountain. Now, we're going to talk about that. The subconscious becomes more receptive to new beliefs, and it's perfect time to introduce the affirmations and suggestions and your you statements. The neural pathway strengthens naturally during sleep, so your brain reinforces what you focus on before bed, right? Let me just go full screen here again. Now, when it comes to music and emotion, the neural pathways that matters. Songs with emotional impact, it creates powerful neural pathways in your subconscious. The common negative programming is like, songs about sadness. If you're a depressed person, you're listening to heartbreak songs all the time. It's just going to reinforce beliefs about difficult relationships. Some songs can actually be designed to bring healing when they have a new belief that's formed from an old belief. That makes sense. But there's some heartbreak songs which is like, okay, let's just sit here and cry, just replay that over and over again. There's the lyrics about struggle and hardship. That's also making it difficult for your mind as well. Some violent and negative themes also create corresponding neural pathways. So you got to choose some music that aligns with your desired beliefs and emotions. Be especially mindful of music you listen to repeatedly with strong emotional responses. I listen to a variety of different songs, and I'm more choosy, not about the style of what I listen to. I'm choosy about the song and what is said in it. That's kind of my whole thing. So let's go. So, three keys to neuroplasticity is repetition, 60 repetition to create a new neural pathway, consistency over intensity. Daily practice beats the occasional intense sessions, gradual strengthening of new thought patterns and behaviors, emotional intensity, get your emotions up. Strong emotions cement those new pathways faster. Positive emotions like gratitude, joy, and excitement, they're most effective. Feeling as if, get in the feeling as if you've desired that outcome already. Just make sure you stay present. You use you statements today. In the now, you're going to use you statements. Okay. You're going to do this. You're going to go and work on X, right? And go and do it. Just do it. You literally have about 5 seconds before your brain will self argue and then implode and then just go right back to the way you were. You'll just backslide, right? So you really have a very short period of time before your brain will start to get into this conundrum or battle, and the old way will win out. Okay, so you got to remember that. Consistency, regular practice over time for lasting change. Short daily sessions are more effective than long occasional ones, right? Occasional long ones. Set specific times for reprogramming exercise to build the habit. Now, let me explain something to you. Program your mind or your life will program it for you. And that is literally what is going on in the world, especially with the invention of YouTube, right? Which I'm here. There's good, solid, quality information. But what's happening is people are finding experts. Is like, I don't know which expert to go to. So there's because what's happening is we're getting information overload, right? So that's why I have a video on what we call attention restoration theory. That when you get away from technology, you go out in nature, your attention span gets to restore itself. You can choose your programming or let life choose you. It's not up to me. It's up to you. I'm not here to kind of get you to say, all right, you need to do X. If you're watching this video, chances are you're one of the people that actually want change in their life. So start reprogramming today to create that dream life, or at least a life that you want to experience. Now, here's what I want to talk about. Program your mind or your life will program it for you. So this is a Harvard study, and I'm going to put this link in the video description. Excessive TV watching, defined as 4 or more hours of daily binge watching, is the greater risk of developing brain-based associated disorders such as dementia, depression, and Parkinson's disease. And this is a new analysis, Harvard Health Publishing. Here's what I want to share with you. When you go to sleep at night and you're watching television, whatever's going on that TV is filtering right into your mind, and there's no way to guard your brain from what you're receiving. Not only will you have a terrible sleep, And most people will say, oh, but it helps me go to sleep. It helps you go to sleep. But in terms of getting that full amount of sleep, yeah, not happening. Not happening. What I can share with you is this: go for a sleep study yourself. Okay. Go, because I've actually, back in the day, years ago, I've worked with sleep study centers. Okay. Worked alongside with them. Here's what I can tell you: it's so important. If you're going to have a sound, get a white noise machine or a machine that gives you the waves, right? Anything but any sound but TV. Nothing with vocals or words. That's what I'm going to say. That's exactly what I'm going to say. Because I'm telling you now, the science is starting to come in. And that doom scrolling at 2 a.m. is just as bad as going to bed with the TV on, playing whatever stuff is on it that's impacting your brain. I've seen it, and I've seen it a lot. I've seen people that fall into that negativity place because of what they're putting in your brain. It's simple: garbage in, garbage out. You put garbage in your head, garbage comes out into your life. That's all for today. See you on the next video. Don't forget to check out this link at Harvard Health Publishing. Okay. And I'll probably put a couple more in there as well. And see you on the next video.